Weather Extra. We continue to watch for that chance of rain returning this weekend. We'll have those details, timing it all out, and the weekend impacts coming up.
And it's Thursday, so that means an update to the drought monitor. We're on your side with the good news and looking back at the rainfall for this month.
Plus, we take you across the nation to places that are seeing extreme levels of both rain
like
and snow
in Minnesota.
WPRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Yeah, it looks like some extreme weather certainly happening there in parts of the country.
Lots of snow and also lots of rain.
Yeah, the pattern has really switched around for us. I mean, we were dealing with the ice, we were dealing with the wind, the rain.
And now we're dry and quiet for a brief period.
If February wants to keep up the boring trend, we won't be upset about it.
Hey, I was noticing we're going beyond the 7-day forecast. Of course, we're going to talk a lot more about that coming up, but I was looking at a lot of the ensemble data, and you and I were discussing the forecast, Lauren, and it seems like over at least the next 2 weeks, we may be seeing some above average temperatures.
Yeah, I'm like, shoot, are we going to be
early
back at the pool?
Maybe.
Well, you will have to check in with our
the
buddy.
Groundhog, yeah, we'll find out tomorrow.
And we're going to talk about just how accurate he is. Spoiler alert, you may want to depend on us.
All right, let's go to the next big thing right now. And first off, we'll go to some views this evening. I just want to show you the temperatures out there. It's chilly. We're at 55 in Chelsea, 51 Birmingham. The temperatures here for tonight will be falling into the mid to upper 30s. It looks like we'll stay above freezing, but no precipitation, of course, showing up. We've had some high clouds moving through, and as I noted earlier, we had that space station flyover. That happened earlier tonight, and the view out there, we had mostly cloudy conditions. Hopefully, we were able to catch the flyover. But big story tonight, the temperatures actually are going to stay above freezing, although it's going to be cold out there, mid-30s. Next big thing, though, we got dry weather for Groundhog Day tomorrow, but rain is coming back on Sunday, and it looks like a cold, rainy setup there for Sunday. Again, in the meantime, we're dry through this evening. Still jacket weather out there and some clouds around. Tomorrow, we'll start out with some of that morning cloud cover, giving way to more sunshine. A nice day. Temperatures up to around 65 degrees, so a nice warm up, a nice rebound, beautiful afternoon. Get out there and enjoy it for our Friday. And we're going to have more of the same as we go into Saturday. The wind tomorrow, north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, so we'll have that light breeze. I was mentioning the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. It looks like we're talking above average temperatures here over the next couple of weeks. In Birmingham, specifically, what I was seeing is that the low temperatures may stay above freezing for the next couple of weeks, at least for parts of the area. So even though it's going to be cold, you look at this, you see a lot of reds. It seems like, hey, it's going to be a lot warmer. We're talking about compared to the average, which is in the mid-50s for highs, mid-30s for lows, and it looks like those temperatures are going to stay near or just above that average mark. But we'll get into more specifics on what's ahead. I'll have the 7-day forecast, plus we'll be going beyond the 7-day forecast as we continue right here on Weather Extra.
Yeah, and there's a little sneak peek of beyond the 7-day, what we could be seeing 8 to 14 days from now. But what could we be seeing as we go into the weekend? Well, in case you missed it, the International Space Station actually just flew over here in central Alabama. Now, granted, there were some clouds around, but hey, here on Red Mountain, we had an okay view. There was a little break in the cloud cover, so you could see it moving by briefly. When is going to be that next best chance to see the space station in case you missed it tonight? Well, it looks like it's actually going to be Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, February 3rd. Here's the problem, though. We have a first alert for rain as we go into the weekend. Now, most of the day on Saturday is going to be dry, but there are going to be clouds moving in, especially by the evening. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some showers moving into our southwest counties after 6 o'clock on Saturday night. So it'll be really high in the sky if you're able to see it, but I'm skeptical because there is going to be so much cloud cover around. But speaking of space, this also serves as your reminder to keep your eyes on the moon. Because, believe it or not, we have a first alert for the moon shrinking. I kid you not. Scientists say that in the last million years, the circumference has shrunk by about 150 feet. This is happening due to the interior of the moon cooling off, which causes the surface to shrink. The shrinking also contributing to the moonquakes and landslides that have been happening on the moon. Here's something on the bright side, though. It's not expected to affect Earth, so you can sleep easy tonight, guys.
Thanks for letting us know, Lauren. Well, across America, California is in for some soaking rains. A rare weather system is about to sit over the Golden State. Fox Weather's Max Gordon has that story.
An atmospheric river called a Pineapple Express is threatening Southern California with several inches of rain and high winds. Precipitation is expected to linger over the state through the next week, and all that rain is expected to bring flooding. But first responders say they're ready.
All the frontline engines have extra swiftwater rescue gear on them, so we're not sitting back waiting to see what happens. We're going to be prepared.
Those crews kind of met up this morning, checked all their gear, got their boats ready, and are ready to deploy at any time if needed within the city or into some of the neighboring jurisdictions if they were to need assistance from us.
Residents in Chula Vista getting ready, filling sandbags before the brunt of the storm hits. Officials are concerned about the wind. Listen to it howl in Santa Cruz on its way down to Southern California.
The wind's probably going to be as much of a factor as the rain. With the ground already saturated, that's going to take down trees. Trees are going to take down power lines and communication lines.
Debris could also lead to road closures, making travel difficult, but some California residents say you get used to it.
Honestly, man, you gotta have a toughness for it and just go out there.
People living in low-lying, flood-prone areas are being told to be on high alert with this storm. Here, the San Diego River is expected to reach minor flood stage. In San Diego, California, Max Gordon, Fox Weather.
And check out this unbelievable video from Long Beach, California, due to the effects of the Pineapple Express. This is an area under a railroad bridge that flooded earlier this afternoon. 4 cars were submerged in the water, and you can only see the tops of them. Thankfully, the drivers and the passengers inside the vehicles were able to get out safely, and there were no injuries reported. About 2 inches of rain fell in the city overnight Wednesday night, with the potential for more storms through tomorrow.
And nearly 250 million people across the country are experiencing above average temperatures. Parts of Minnesota are seeing temperatures 30 degrees above average. When this time last year, they had about 11 inches of snow on the ground. But it's not just the Twin Cities that are experiencing it. From Seattle all the way to Atlanta could possibly see record temperatures. One clothing store says people haven't even needed winter gear.
I sell men's and women's clothing, and jackets, parkas, gloves, hats, mittens are an important part of that business. It impacts the entire community too, because the restaurants and the other retail stores really count on this.
But don't put away the winter gear just yet. Some model data suggests another wave of cold air further out this month. Of course, we'll keep you updated on that right here on First Alert Weather Extra and everyone's favorite segment, Beyond the 7-Day.
Yes, everyone's favorite. And in Alaska, Lauren, Anchorage can't seem to shake the flakes. A record amount of snow has fallen this season. Look at this video. Their car's stuck. This is not funny, guys. This is crazy. Already topping at, get this, almost 105 inches. They reached the historic milestone on Monday, and with a few more weeks of winter left to go, it's possible they can get and accumulate more snow than this. The typical snow average for Anchorage is 48.8 inches, and that's still a lot. Well, in 30 seconds, we talk more about Groundhog's Day and why our furry friend has been a staple so long in predicting a late winter or early spring. We'll be right back.
Welcome back into Weather Extra. Well, this dry weather, you can see our model data shows into tomorrow morning. The dry weather hangs on. These clouds start to thin out. Temperatures down into the mid-30s for a lot of areas. We might get close to freezing places like Weiss Lake and Center, back in towards Piedmont, maybe some outlying areas, Springville and points north there in the Blount County. But the rest of the area, we should stay above freezing. Certainly could see a little bit of frost out there early tomorrow. But we stay dry through Saturday. But notice Saturday night, we start to see some of that wet weather moving in. So clouds will be on the increase this weekend. A good chance of rain, at least for the second half of our weekend. But of course, there's one forecast we all want to know about. What is the groundhog have to say about things, Lauren.
Wes, we do want to find out what is this whole deal with a little groundhog up in Pennsylvania dictating the next 6 weeks of our lives. Well, we'll tell you what the tale tells us. If the groundhog happens to see his shadow, our dear friend Punxsutawney Phil, then that means tomorrow morning if he sees his shadow, oh no, 6 more weeks of winter. But if our buddy Punxsutawney doesn't see his shadow, then ta-da, early spring. However, last I checked, our buddy doesn't have a meteorology degree, so we can't depend on him to let us know one way or the other. Now, we love animals here on Weather Extra, but let's set you straight here. Where have we been in the past 5 years as far as Punxsutawney Phil getting that prediction right? You know, I'm just saying, if we're looking at the averages here, what that letter grade was, it does look like he got more C's than A's and B's. So probably on average, if we were looking at that grade, if we averaged all 5 of these together, he could do better. So maybe you just need to pick up some meteorology classes, buddy. In the meantime, we'll handle it here on the First Alert Weather Team. I'm not saying you don't look cute, but enjoy hibernation. We got the forecast covered from here. We will take a look beyond the 7-day to see what we have come up with our predictions. But we all know with weather forecasts, 7 to 10 days out, more than that, everything can get a little dicey. So you always got to have that most accurate information. Well, coming up here on First Alert Weather Extra, we take a look at the latest drought monitor. We'll be right back.
And welcome back into Weather Extra. It is Thursday, and that means we have an updated drought monitor, which actually brings some good news this week. Let's check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel.
Well, the drought monitor has been issued earlier this morning, and guess what? We have some great news. Obviously, we recorded a lot of rainfall last week, and that actually gave us a surplus of rain for this previous month. So for January, on average, we'll pick up about 5 inches of rain. Well, Birmingham has already recorded over 6 inches, and over 8 inches of rain has fallen in January for Tuscaloosa and Anniston. So obviously, that takes a big dent in the drought monitor. So here's the latest update. Notice parts of southeast Alabama, no drought. That includes Montgomery and Dothan, Mobile. So that is some good news. Abnormally dry conditions to the south. And right along Interstate 2059, we're looking at those moderate drought conditions continuing for Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. And that severe drought in orange, just a little bit of that. And that includes parts of St. Clair, Blount, and Etowah County. So how does that compare to last week? So here's the comparison, and as you can see, we have no extreme drought in red. We had about 3% of the state under extreme drought last week. Not anymore. In fact, the moderate or the severe drought in orange last week, 33% of the state was under a severe drought, and now that has been reduced to 3%. So that is great news. And then of course, last week, 22% of the state had zero drought, and now that number has gone up to about 37%. So hopefully this trend will continue as we go into February and March, because typically we'll see some of our best rain chances during those months. So in February, we'll typically average about 5 inches of rain, and March is actually one of the wettest months of the year. So hopefully we'll see some improvement. I know we have another chance to see some rainfall as we go into Sunday into Monday, and that might actually help us out even more. So we'll continue to monitor this. We'll have a new drought update coming up next week, a week from now.
All right, Matt, nice to see finally some improvements on that drought monitor, but a couple of dry days now, and tomorrow looks like another dry day for us. Temperature-wise out there tonight, very seasonal conditions for us. This is chilly. You need the jacket, but the temperatures tonight will stay above freezing for most of us. Maybe a little bit of frost around early in the day. You can see by 9 p.m. showing 46 in Birmingham, 47 in Tuscaloosa, 45 Anniston. To the north, also seeing a lot of 40s there at 9 o'clock. After midnight and through tomorrow morning, see tumbling down into the mid-30s, and again we still have some of those clouds moving in, more high altitude clouds this evening. We managed to see a little bit of sun filtering through during the afternoon, but still with the clouds around early in the day tomorrow morning, looks like that might have an impact on those temperatures as well. We'll see a nice warm up though tomorrow. Sunshine will return. We'll clear out with a nice supply of sunny weather and afternoon highs reaching into the mid-60s. We may top 65 here in parts of West Alabama. Places like Berry and back in towards Foster's and Ralph and down in towards Knoxville and Utah there in Greene County could see some mid to upper 60s Saturday morning above freezing. Temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s Saturday morning, but another cold start. You can see a easterly wind there comes back this weekend, and then by Saturday night those clouds really start to thicken up. And we're going to be dealing with a good chance of rain. Looks like a Sunday we wake up to a good coverage of wet weather, and it's going to be a cold rain. I mean, temperatures will be in the 40s there to start the day. Chilly and rainy, winds out of the east direction at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. A breezy day on Sunday. You can see that system as it rotates through, and it's going to be with us through most of the day and to Sunday. Sunday night, we'll still have some showers, but the one thing, the global data here, you can see Monday, that's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's showing by Monday afternoon this may move out a little bit sooner than the models have suggested the past couple of days. So wouldn't totally surprise me if we did see a lot of this rain get out of here by midday on Monday. But still, with this kind of system, sometimes they can be a little slow to move out, kind of sluggish. So that's why we're hanging on to that chance for some showers there into early next week. Otherwise, we break into dry weather for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. And behind this system, well, the temperatures actually improve during the day. Highs in the low 60s. Notice the normal high highs around 56. So we go back above average with some periods of sunshine through the middle of next week, and then overnight lows stay above freezing. So one thing, no hard freeze showing up in this forecast, especially through the middle of next week. But we will be talking about the chance for some wet weather coming back next weekend as we go to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Lauren brought us some news about the groundhog, but hey, let's get into the weather calendar. Let's talk about what's really on the way here. Yesterday we were talking about a little bit of rain, I know, around Valentine's Day, but it looks like that's trended a little bit drier.
Yeah, Wes, when I was looking at some of the long range data, it does look like maybe once we get past next weekend, which is that second full weekend of February, we're talking Saturday 10th through the 11th through the 12th, right before Valentine's Day, there could be a rain chance, but now it looks like possibly trending drier. It's not a total guarantee, but those are the trends we've been noticing for today. Now, as we look ahead to next week, we mentioned that chance of some lingering showers on Monday morning, but that next rain chance, once we get past Monday, which looks fairly quiet, would be that weekend, the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So we'll be watching for that. But let's switch over here and look at that temperature outlook. Wes was heading at this earlier, that from February 9th to 15th, this is that 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Here in central Alabama and much of Alabama, really, we could be seeing above average temperatures. So what could that translate to? As we look at morning lows, you can see, especially as we get into next weekend and possibly have that wetter, cloudier pattern. Remember, when we have clouds around at night, that almost serves as a little blanket. It's going to keep us milder than we would be otherwise. So we could be in a situation as we go into next weekend where morning lows are only in the 40s or 50s versus the 30s. So looking at that average line around 36 degrees as we get into early February, temperatures look like they could be running slightly above average for morning lows. And then here are those potential high temperatures. Our average high is 56 for early February, so possibly seeing 60s next week, if not maybe getting close to 70 degrees at some point, and then still looking at 60s beyond the 7-day. So what about the rainfall outlook? Because we know January just really gave us a lot of weather whiplash with how active the pattern was. It still looks like February 9th through 15th, 8 to 16 days from now, that we could be seeing above average precipitation. Now, if you'll notice here, this is kind of that lighter green. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be well above average, but possibly slightly above what we would typically see in that time frame in February. So this is looking at the mid-level flow of the atmosphere and the potential rain and precipitation. So our long-range future casts. Here we are Friday. This would be next Friday, February 9th, showing maybe a few rain showers nearby, but it looks like with the system that we could see coming our way, we could see possibly a little bit of southwest flow in the atmosphere that could bring a better chance of some disturbances that could support some wet weather as we get into the weekend before Valentine's Day. So maybe you have some plans to celebrate Valentine's Day early. I would be mindful that right now it does look like there could be some rain around that weekend. Fortunately, I'm not seeing any signals right now that would suggest a severe weather threat. But I mean, this is still 8 to 14 days out. This can and will change. It always does. There's no skill in forecasting greater than 7 to 10 days out. So just checking out that pattern recognition. So the possibility that as we get into the weekend of, or the week of Valentine's Day, possibly drying out once we get past that weekend prior. But we'll take a final check on your forecast here on Weather Extra coming up after the break.
You want us to do a restaurant review?
Oh.
Oh, Lord.
See, I'll try to find.
Yeah.
We have pet pictures. That's all we had today.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool view from space. You know, that atmospheric river we've been talking about. This is all that moisture coming across Hawaii and over the Pacific that's been impacting the west coast of the U.S. But just always amazing, you know, when you see the atmosphere like this in motion. This is from the Institute for Atmospheric Research at Colorado State. They were sharing some of this information, but all that moisture in the atmosphere, you can just really tell that our atmosphere, it's a fluid in motion.
It is.
Yeah.
That is what is so cool about our atmosphere and why it is constantly changing, which is why we constantly have a job, which is nice.
Well, that is very nice. Hey, I was going to say, though, that's the same system that's actually going to bring us some rain, you know, this weekend.
That's right.
So a couple days out.
Yeah, so by the time it gets here, it's not a formal atmospheric river, but we are going to be seeing the energy and the moisture associated with that system eventually bringing us some rainfall.
And we had quite a bit of rain, I know, last week. This go around looks like maybe we could see an inch and a half of rain. You'll notice behind me, it's 7-day forecast. It's Sunday and then some wet weather into early on Monday. But after that, I'm liking those 60s in the next week. But it's been incredible. You see some of the long range data. It looks like those temperatures stay above average.
Yeah, it's looking pretty nice next week. Of course, we do have that wet weather Sunday and Monday. But hey, if you want to make some outdoor plans, Tuesday, Wednesday, the afternoon, low 60s. It's mild.
Yeah, some chilling and grilling, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, that's what we need to do is a chilling and grilling forecast.
Yeah, we need to break that out.
That's a good one.
All right, we'll see you back here tonight. We'll have updates on the weekend and more first at 9.